You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Here's your host with today's guest.
Welcome to another edition of Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Narcan, please get it. CVS, Walgreens, URI. Put it in your car, put it in your purse. Take it out at night because it's getting hot, because it'll affect it, but it saves lives. It saves lives. My guest today is Christine Nolan, and Christine is with the Healthy Living and Recovery. It's a new name change. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Christine, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, John.
So tell me about the name change first.
Yeah, so we took a step back and looked at a kind of a comprehensive approach on what recovery looks like, and we came up with 3 pillars. One was housing, your environment in which you live in. Having access to treatment, which would be a licensed behavioral health outpatient services, and having peer and community supports. And so when we were, what we decided to do was to approach this with a branding way of communicating and marketing our services as living in recovery, healthy living in recovery. Because it's not that we're just treating a disease, it's about transformation, right? It's about people getting well, living well. And when you think of addiction and mental health co-occurring challenges, you know, you got to look at the whole person. So these 3 pillars support that approach, our approach to being very person-centered and family-centered, but also looking at, you know, the mind, the body, and the spirit of someone that's embracing some pathway of recovery. And so what we did was to identify with that approach is we changed our names to Healthy Living and Recovery. So it sends a really strong and powerful message about what that looks like under what we believe to be a healthy model. And also to branch out, not just to be recovery housing, not just to be an outpatient clinic or just, you know, community peer services, but to be able to encompass all of that under one umbrella, so that people can access those variations based on what their needs are.
So why? Why did you go down that road?
The reason why we decided to bridge these 3 pillars together, this model, was because we saw the success rate of it. You know, we understood that when we had, whether they were coming into the outpatient services at the clinic in Middletown, Rhode Island, or if they were coming to one of our previously owned recovery houses in Portsmouth and Newport, they all integrated. They all fed into each other about how to help people live well. You know, it isn't just about putting down the liquid powder, pill, or leaf, or vape today. It's about meeting people where they're at and what support services do you need around them. You know, we recognize that the treatment component's there, so we have, you know, comprehensive care. We have peer support services in that as well. But it went beyond that, just treatment. It's not a traditional model of you know, 30, 60, 90. We embrace our model with a long-term intention, if you would, to helping people, you know, gradually grow into their own sustainable recovery. And that can change, you know, at 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. So you need a model that works to give those supports. You know, for example, my own story, you know, after coming out of an inpatient treatment, you know, the best thing for me was to have an aftercare plan where I stepped into another environment, having access to treatment and a safe, structured program that supported the continuation of that care. You know, I've seen many reoccurrences and relapses because there's a gap in that system. You know, they go into inpatient, they come home to their own environment with limited access to treatment, and they have those setbacks. So a model that had worked for me personally, and what we had adopted into Healthy Living Recovery, was to bring those components together, which is not something brand new to the healthcare community, but we also address it with a holistic approach and a gradual approach, so that folks can come in and really experience, that's my big thing, is experience this life-changing model that comes in, and you have this collaboration of these 3 services, right, having access to them, where we're working with you as you move along in your recovery, right, so that as things change personally or in your family, or the family needs support, we have these 3 components that help them.
You know, it's kind of, I love it.
Yeah. I do too.
When I came down to visit, and I saw the place that you have with the moms and the kids. All the way home, it broke my heart. But there's an avenue that they can take in order to be successful. When you put the 3 pillars together, it's not like it was prior years. They're all in the same location, meaning that you can take that pillow, you can take that pillow, or you can take that pillow. Whatever is the pillow of your choice. And it makes you a better person because you can move, you know? And when you have children, as I indicated to the last guest that I had, there's so many kids that are without their parents now because of either incarceration or overdose. We need to find a way as a group, as an organization, as the state, to help these kids get to the next level. There's going to be issues of behavioral issues because of the trauma in their lives. There's going to be issues to the families because of what's happening in their lives. So when you put a model together like that and it works, you hit a grand slam. And I'll use the baseball terminology. But I'm very, very happy that your organization did this, especially on the island that you're at, because obviously there's not a lot of services in that area. And when we come back from break in a little bit, I want to talk about the new thing you got going on in Middletown. But we have so many people that are hurting, so many people. Whether it's mental illness, whether it's substance use, whether it's financial, whether it's family. The country has changed in a way that it's almost like people are like throwaways now, which is heart-wrenching. Because I wasn't brought up like that. You weren't brought up like that. It's like the day-to-day operation of the country, the state, the towns, Middletown, Newport, homelessness is like on the verge of climbing for a lot of different reasons. You got gasoline at almost $5 a gallon. You got people that are going to lose their health care come October. The numbers are staggering when that happens. It's not going to get any better until we work to get it better. Programs like you're doing, programs like a lot of other people thinking outside the box. You can't, it's not like what we did 5 years ago or 2 years ago. It's all different. It's all different. And that's something that, you know, we need people who are CEOs and presidents to think outside the box. It's not the norm anymore.
No, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. And the fact that, you know, the culture's changed so much about what recovery looks like, you know, and it's not just having a 30, 60, 90-day traditional treatment program. It is about lifestyle changes. It's about meeting people where they're at. It's about the experience they have to be able to help them overcome and continue the work that is involved in getting well and treating any disease. And so if you don't have those resources, you don't have access to treatment, you don't have access to insurance companies that cover that treatment, you know, you're displaced from your home because of your addiction or your mental health, you know, all of those things, you know, having access to those under one umbrella, where you can meet people where you're giving them options on, like you just mentioned, of services, that's key, that's pivotal. And the fact that it's a gradual process and it's not a one and done, you know.
We got to take a quick break. You're watching Recovery TV and I'm your host, Sean Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Christine Nolan is in the house, and she's with Healthy Living in Recovery in Middletown. And other locations you have?
Yes, yes. We have a new location in Portsmouth, Rhode Island. It's a new recovery house that we're working on right now that we just had a beautiful acquisition of property there on an acre that was formerly used as a bed and breakfast that we'll be renovating and providing recovery housing back in Newport County, reopening our doors to help those that need that kind of support for a structured environment, a safe place to go and get well and you know, continue their treatment or their access to services that they might need. The model that we've done right now is we'll be a NARS certified. It's National Alliance Recovery Residence, which is gives you a high standard of operating the programs in the house, and we've had experience with adult and children. So we're going to be reopening our first house back on the island with a tremendous amount of support from the community. It was, as you know, we participated in some meetings, and they were, because of the good neighbor and the lack of resources on the island, they welcomed us with open arms. So we're excited to branch those services back into the community and work with some of our collaborative partners, you know, like Newport Mental Health and Newport Hospital and Galilee Mission. And so we're just getting things going right now over the next few months to renovate and develop the programming in it. And yeah, very exciting.
Opening?
Before the end of the year. We're looking at
end of this year.
We're hopeful.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're hopeful.
Boy.
We've been working on this for the last year and a half. So now.
How many beds?
It'll be 10 beds.
10 beds.
10 beds,
Will
yeah.
will they be the word I'm looking for? People with disabilities. Will it be all handicapped accessible?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we're renovating the place, is to be able to have state-of-the-art services available in the house with counseling for the members that are living there, a little business center, but ADA access, you know, having a bedroom and bathrooms and entryways and all of that to support those that might have
Yeah, that's a
the
big
need of
deal. Yeah,
accessibility.
that's a big deal now,
It
because
is.
a lot of the
It is.
recovery houses don't have
Yeah.
accessibility for people with disabilities. So congratulations on
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. Great
And
team.
I guess someone was a big help with you on that?
Yes, very big. And I want to mention Rhode Island Housing was very, very supportive to providing us funding to do this, the acquisition and the renovations. We have worked with them in the past over another location that we were looking for that didn't work out, so they have recognized the need and the crisis that we're in for recovery housing and affordable housing. So we had approached them with reopening one of our houses for adults, and then moving into what the higher tiers of recovery housing, which would be what they call, you know, structured programming, like support services in the houses for those members that are residing there, as well as having a licensed behavioral health outpatient clinic, which we have down the street in Middletown. So those beautiful members that reside at our houses will have access to outpatient treatment, as well as our community support services that we work very closely with different social connections. So it's a great model that we were talking about earlier, to be able to have that back in the Newport County area. A beautiful place to get well, and this would not have happened if we didn't have Rhode Island Housing support. They were very instrumental giving us the funding.
Yeah,
And,
as far as the Leadership Council goes, I'm so grateful that they stepped up to the plate.
They did.
And they need to do it more throughout the state, because we are short. We are short recovery houses, and people are not going to get better if they don't get into that environment.
Right.
Because you just can't go to an outpatient treatment and go home. Go home, go to outpatient treatment.
Right.
Sooner or later,
Yeah.
you know, something's going to give. Matter of fact, I was in having coffee a few days ago, and I bumped into a gentleman who I helped like 7 times already. And he said to me, if it wasn't for you getting me into a recovery house, I would have never made it. You would have been coming to a funeral home to visit me. And that, you know, that statement right there, that hits home. That hits home. And there's a lot of it going on. This is not something that we're going to correct anytime soon.
Right.
You know, there's new drugs coming in all the time, and I can't figure it out, but, you know.
One of the things too, John, that we were talking about is that continuum of care from inpatient.
Right.
There's very limited access to continued treatment, housing, you know, and then the connections you need within your recovery community. So, especially in the Newport County area.
Right.
You know.
And it all takes money.
Yeah, it does.
It all takes money. If the rates are not where they're supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get people to work in the industry, and it's a vicious circle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vicious circle. And if we don't start doing the right thing in the state and the federal government, this is not going away anytime soon. Anytime soon.
And people look at recovery housing not just for the one that is getting well, but the family.
Family.
Right? So if you've been displaced from your home because of your struggles and some of the occurrences that happened around that might have either put you in court, had you go to prison or come out, or put you back into inpatient treatment, you know, where's the structure outside of that helps you, gives you that foundation to continue to gradually get well? You
Right.
know, it's not like one and done. I keep saying that kind of cut. You need that support, that continued care.
Yeah, that one and done syndrome, it doesn't work because it's like a vicious circle.
Yeah.
It's like a vicious circle. And the other thing too is that, you know, a lot of us are working on the stigma issue.
Yeah.
You know, and we got to cut that out. It's people have mental illness,
Yeah.
substance use issues.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be stigmatized. They should be helped.
Mm-hmm.
Get the S out of there
Yeah.
and put the H over there and get the help that they need,
Yeah.
the services that they need.
Yeah.
And I know Newport County, Middletown, they're struggling.
Yeah.
They're struggling with the actual resources that they need for the folks over there. There's a lot of homelessness, a lot of things going on. And there's got to be a way that, you know, I say this all the time. We put everybody in the room and lock the door. Nobody leaves until we get a solution or some sort of solution to fix the problem. But we haven't done that yet. But I have an office, my door's locked, so everybody can come to my office. We can lock the door and we can try to figure it out. Because it's not something that's going away anytime soon. Since I've been in it,
Yeah.
you've been in it, it's getting worse. The economy is driving the train. People can't get jobs. Gas is almost $5 a gallon. You know, other people are going to lose their health care come October with the big, beautiful bill. It's a big, beautiful debacle. That's what I call it. And it's going to be saddening. I mean, your organization is going to feel it because people are going to come to you and they don't have health care. Now what do you do? You know, you're not going to kick them to the curb because they don't have health care. Not you. I know you're going to take them in. You know, they'll be living out of your house before you know it. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Christine Nolan is in the house, Healthy Living in Recovery in Middletown. And where are your other locations?
Portsmouth for our new
Portsmouth.
recovery house. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good. And again, the recovery house is great. I congratulate you, Rhode Island Housing, for doing that. I really want to thank Rhode Island Housing for putting their feet in the water, because there's other organizations that could benefit from Rhode Island Housing to put more recovery houses online. And that's what we need, because you just can't go to outpatient treatment, go home, go to outpatient treatment, and go home. You gotta have structure. You gotta have structure. And I thank you for doing that. Any other plans?
Well, right now we're going to focus on getting this opened and running. We're doing some additional program at the outpatient clinic right now for family services and support.
Yep.
So it'll all be integrated together.
is great.
Good timing.
Family services, love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll keep the integrity of our programs going strong.
Great. I want to thank you for
You're
coming in today, coming all the way from
The
Middletown,
bridge. I
Newport
know.
area, have to cross the bridge. My guest next week is Dr. Chris Aniano from Neighborhood Health. And he was a gentleman who I served with in the Senate for many years, a great guy. And following the program, it'll be Kodak Live, a fully integrated approach to care. Ladies and gentlemen, if you see something, say something. We need all the help we can get. See you next week.